This is Transposition Sports. I'm Carly Chardonnay Webb. This week, we're going to feature an expanded edition of our conversation with CeCe Telfer from last month because many have reached out, many of you read the book, and you said, Carly, she had more to say, so we built an expanded version tonight. Make it count. The autobiography by NCAA track and field champion CeCe Telfer has hit the shelves to some rave reviews, and last month, we brought it here to talk about it. It was a short version of a much longer interview, and we got requests for an encore, and a lot of people said, we want to hear more. So we did an extended version. I'm Carly Chardonnay Webb. When next we meet, I'll be at WFA Championship Weekend from Canton, Ohio. We leave you tonight with an expanded conversation with CeCe Telfer. What led you to write this? What led you to do this? There's a lot of pain in here.
Yeah. What led me to do this was like what you just said, all the pain that I've had to endure, all the no's that I've gotten, just making sure that I have something substantial, something that marks how hard I've worked, how hard we've worked as people, as Black people, as trans people, to get to where we need to be in life, and the hate and discrimination level of what we have to go through. Now, people go through things, but we have an extra layer that other people cannot fathom. You feel me? So I feel like it was so important for me to put this out there and to have this. So I'm just trying to tell my story, and I'm not trying to tell it over and over again, but I'm just trying to have something that is tangible so people can, like you said, read it over and over again to really fully understand and wrap their head around that there can actually be somebody that is fully born transgender, like a woman in the wrong body, a man in the wrong body. So,
In a
very
way,
important.
now, is that the way you see your experience?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I never once in my book did I say I identified as a boy. I identified as gay, and then I became no. I was always finding the word and the identity and the thing that I really that I saw I was, and that was always my mom or my sister or any female figure in my life. I always saw that like that's what I'm gonna end up being. That's who I'm gonna end up being. That is me.
The toughest parts for me to read was the childhood story, growing up. First in Jamaica and then coming of age in Canada. Give me a picture of what got you through it? Because at that age, I remember being that age and having these feelings, but having no vocabulary, no idea I could
Yes.
tell anyone. How'd you get through?
How I got through those trials and tribulations at such a young age, those times, my sister, someone told me as a child to never stop smiling and and be positive because that is going to take me around the world, and that resonated with me my whole entire childhood and my whole life because I was always bullied, I was always scrutinized for being happy, for always smiling. My own mother looked at me and told me that if I keep smiling and I keep being this happy person, people are going to take advantage of me and people are going to use me, and I'm weak because of it. So, and then on the other hand, you have somebody tell me to keep doing this because it's going to take me through a lot of doors, a lot of places, and around the world. And it really did. So, the fact that that was like really something that resonated in me, just keep being you, was what the person was really saying, and stay true to your heart and who you are fiercely. That's really what brought me through. That was really my shield when I was going to school in Jamaica, and it was such a hetero, strict society. Just always being positive and always smiling and empowering myself and others. Literally was my protection. Like any other kid, like even some bullies found it hard to bully me because they're like, "Damn, like this kid is actually a good kid." Like this kid is nice. This kid is always smiling, positive. They didn't really do anything besides how they're identifying. And, like it's crazy. Like I see all of that. I see like people who really wanted to hurt me. They couldn't really fully hurt me because they were like, you're you're innocent. You know what I mean? Like that really was my protection, honestly. Just trying to like keep smiling and keep just being true to what I feel on the inside, and not what people wanted me to be, what my mother wanted to be, what anybody else wanted me to be. I was being what they wanted me to be as a shield for my protection, basically. But underneath that shield was that positivity, that smile, that resignation, resignation of keep smiling and keep being positive, because that's going to bring you around the world, but also protect that peace. And that's exactly what I was doing.
When did it get hard to protect that peace?
Oh my God, it got hard in high school. It got hard in high school when I, that's a really good question. I think it got hard in high school, and I had to really rely on sports. And that's where cheerleading, gymnastics, and track and all of that was like, all right, I need something more tangible. I need something that I can actively hold on to beside this inner innate feeling. So that's where sports came into play.
One thing in the book that struck me, because, well, everything struck me in one way or another. You talked about, I mean, you went in talking about the backstory of what happened at trials in 2021 and those moments that people may not have known about. Franklin Pierce. Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Zim lately?
I caught up with him at actually my last indoor track and field meet in February. Um, I went out. I went out to Boston, New England area from about, like, to compete and tour the East Coast to like really have a fair shot of making a team. And I caught him on my last competition, and he's going through it. He's going through it. He just lost a parent, so yeah.
One thing I want to read from this book, because this struck me, because this is a story people don't know. Finally, he says, I've been waiting for this day. Ever since you first stepped into office freshman year and introduced yourself to the coaches with your dead name, we were all surprised. But we all thought, okay, if that's how she wants to identify, we're not going to ask questions. We followed your lead, but the truth is, we've always seen you as a female, CeCe, from day one. So I've been waiting for this day. And I would love to have you on the female track team. How stunned were you to hear that from, of all people, a coach?
I was really stunned. Like, I started crying. Yeah, I was super emotional. Very emotional. I felt like my coach really had my back. Like my university really had my back. Um, exactly how the love that I've been looking for from my mother, and the words that I really wanted her to say, the coach said it to me and stuff like that. So I was just like, and in that moment, I felt like I had to give everything to that team, everything to that my university, and everything to Coach Zem. I'm like, I really got to make you proud, and I did.
Now, I've taken you've at least kept up with some of the recent unpleasantness. Two high school
Um,
students, two high school
yeah,
students winning state championships and then getting booed. When you hear that, I mean, gut reaction to it.
yeah, sickening. Like it gives me honestly anxiety for them, because booing and the crowd reacting how they are acting is not safe for any child, any kid, mentally and physically. We're adults. We need to do better, because if it wasn't them, put your child in that situation. They're also kids. That's what they are. They are children. They're kids, and they deserve to play sports. They deserve the life-saving aspect that sports apply to kids like us that need sports more than anything else. And they deserve to be playing and running and training and competing with their friends and with other athletes that love and embrace them. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. And them playing and competing and training together as kids is very healthy and very um it's needed for the developmental process of the brain, mind, body, and soul for kids. So we need to stay out and intervene when we should intervene, like when doctors are, not doing the right things what they that they shouldn't be doing. That's when we need to stand up and talk about it because even till this day, what happened to female athletes in athletics in general when it comes to anti-doping and like the medical staff and doctors, even to this day, like what happened to the women's gymnastics team, nobody's talking about it as much. Nobody is being as aggressive as they should be, as they are with this anti-trans war and this literally what they're creating. You see what I mean? Like,
Oh, yes.
no, let's stand on business on the right things and not interrupt normal human normal human processing and normal human interaction. That is literally life saving.
And talking about the young people and
Yes,
talking about these young athletes who got booed, I'm sure that brings back flashbacks for you. Especially
absolutely.
when you went to indoor and outdoor nationals in 2019
Mm-hmm.
and they had to
Mm-hmm.
sit you down and say, this is the
Yup.
way it's got to work to keep you safe.
Yup. They
And
had to.
even
I was
now
on
you
the
got to deal with
line
that.
for my indoor national championship, my first one. I was on the line, and they had to stop the race because a parent said something out in the audience before the gun went off, and I was right next to the stand that had no railing, that had no boundaries or anything that parents could have done. Just they had to stop the race and tell the girls to stand up, and then they had to address. They had to adjust. They had to address that parent in front of us, and then tell us to get back into the starting blocks, and then go run the race or go execute the race. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? My life was threatened 5 seconds ago, and you want me to finish this race? Of course, I'm not gonna win. Of course, I'm gonna what? I still came fifth place though. Yeah. Okay. Let me see any other cis heterosexual athlete. Ask them what are they thinking about on race day. If they're thinking about their lives being taken, if they're thinking about their safety, if they're thinking about their basic human rights being violated, please ask them what they're thinking about. Ask Tina McLaughlin what she is thinking about on her race day. Please let me know. Thank you. Say it louder for the people in the back. That's all I'm saying. Like you're banning me for your preconceived predisposition and ideas of what your fears are, not who I am. I am living this life. I didn't buy this life. Do not ask Caitlyn Jenner, Kristen Jenner, or that Jenner about anything regarding transgender athletes or transgender people. We are actively living this life. We have to go through the things that we have to go through to live. Where we don't have money to buy it. So please, when you're coming to us with the anti-trans rhetoric and you're banning us and you're looking for committees, have bodies that look like us. Have people that go through our experiences, that experience things like us. Have athletes that go through our experiences and have athletes that actively are going through it like us. Have bodies that look like us on those committees, in those spaces, because they're the ones that can really truly speak on and talk to the experiences that we go through.
Thoughts on the decision of the CAS not to listen to the Leah Thomas case against
Mm.
World Aquatics?
Oh my gosh, honestly, I feel like it was not a no, it was just like a not at this moment, not at this time. So it wasn't like a shutdown, it was like a, come back again when, everything is gathered and you have all the paperwork. Um, I definitely feel like Leah Thomas deserves her chance to speak and for her voice to be heard, especially to Cass. And they need to consider everything that she's gone through.
What do you hope, especially young people, many of whom looked up to you, one we talked to recently, Sadie Schreiner? What do you hope that especially young people that may be looking at following in your footsteps, what do you hope they take from this? That they
I
take from
really
your
hope
story?
that young people would, what I hope that they would take from my story, like Sadie Shiner and others, Andrea, Terry. I know that they're not particularly athletes right now, like Sadie, but they were athletes, and if they still have time to be athletes again, and all the other athletes that are actively going through it, and coming up. I just really hope that they take away from my book, my story, that to stand in their resilience and um, them being themselves, living in their truth is pressure and is applying pressure, and that is already doing that's one step in the right direction. Just keeping you um, advocate for yourself fiercely and never stop achieving your dreams. Always be ambitious. Always have goals and always work towards achieving those ambitions and goals and dreams. Because without goals, you can't achieve your dreams. So you got this. Keep going and try to stay positive. You're not alone, and keep going.
You got to see some of your progeny do their thing. People who sought you out. One was on a track
Yeah.
at Division threes. What was it like seeing say if you got a chance, what was it like to like if you got to see it or you got to hear about it to see Sadie Schreiner not just compete but be an All-American and reach the podium, running third in the 200. And that's the best finish for a transgender student athlete in track and field since you on 5 years to the day. What's it like seeing that?
It was very emotional. It was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to see, and I definitely cheered her on. It was beautiful to see that we're moving in the right direction. You know what I mean?
And at the
I
same
just
time,
feel proud that I was a part of that.
well, you definitely were, and she would agree with it. And at the same time, someone you influenced a couple weeks before took a football field and ran with it.
Hey, that is so crazy.
I mean, I just want to say though, is that you helped get me here. I want to put that out there. You helped at the time when the week you did that was the week my name change became final.
Oh my God, I
And you
remember.
probably,
That's so
and that's the thing that
amazing.
happened the same week. I
Oh,
was playing in a softball tournament that night and was watching the race.
yes.
And every time I feel, I'm just gonna tell you, every time I feel that I can't, I watch that race.
Oh,
I watch that race. Whenever I'm really nervous before a game, I watch that race. Or when I'm nervous before a race, I watch that race. I
mm,
watch that race. And I realized, no, you did it. And I can because
we did
we
it.
did. Yeah, because we did. What's life for you like now?
Um, it's a battle because trying to come out of this dark place, and trying to be active and whole again. Because we're still in season for track. I'm still trying to show up and represent and compete. Always a track athlete. I'm always going to try until I get to the Olympics. Let's not get that twisted at all. But still coming out of this dark place of everybody around me that is cis and conforming is preparing for the Olympics. as their right, and I'm the only person not having that right to prepare for the Olympic trials to a fair chance of making the team. Um, it's really hard to see all of that happening right now. It's really hard to see all the other athletes coming to LA and like, you know, in and out of my like seeing them in and out of the gym and like knowing who they are and stuff like that. And it's really hard to be even in public, but the publishing of my book is really helping me to, keep that distraction, keep the mindset and the goal of what it always was. And, can't stop, won't stop, got to keep going because I deserve to be competing right now. I deserve to be preparing for the Olympic trials like every other person, every other athlete that's worked their whole life that has made it to the top 30, 35 person in the country to represent the country. I am within that. So I deserve to be preparing for that. And it breaks my heart every single day that I wake up and I'm not waking up to go to practice. I'm not waking up to prepare for a track meet. I'm not waking up to show the world that I exist and I'm not going to stop existing.
Now, with that in mind, what's the status of that fight? For example, are there any plans to take on World Athletics? What's the next
Um,
move in regards to that?
to be honest, World Athletics and Team USA right now, they're family. Families have fight and disagreements. And right now, I just really have to focus on the positive because if I focus on the negatives, my voice is not going to be heard. They're going to use that political rhetoric and anti trans war even more. So I have to hope and believe that my parent federations, USATF and World Athletics, is going to come to the realization that their ban was a mistake and their discrimination and outlaw of just non-inclusive and embracing space is hurtful to people. Um, and I hope that they're going to change their mind, and I hope that they're going to see that this was a mistake and that it was wrong, and take accountability for their actions and do better moving forward.
What are you doing when you're not training and when you're not being an advocate? Well, one thing I do know is
That is so
you out there getting your modeling thing on.
period. Yes. Absolutely. Always modeling, always on the runway. I like to, just settle back and feel pretty. I like to, you know, I, when I'm not running, I don't know, I like to just chill. I like to be a woman. I like to be a girl. I'm very much a girly girl. So I like to just get my nails done, be pretty, like do pretty girl stuff and go to the beach, go to the pool, wear a bikini, feel sexy, feel like the woman that I am. Yeah.
Including serving in that powder blue track uniform.
Hey,
I'll admit I need that in my life.
I got you. I got you,
I need that
girl.
I need that in my life. But that's another thing as well. One thing I've noticed about a lot of the things you're putting together is that you're getting your flojo on. That's what it is. You
Absolutely.
getting that
That is the
you
motivation.
getting that how much how much of that comes from just the experience of your come up where you were trying to find yourself and sports was the place where you could be safe in
Oh
that.
my God. All of it. All of it. I would say, because remember, Carly, my sister, you have to remember how I see myself today is I guess you could say before I found out that I wasn't going to Paris, I was 99% all athlete. So everything that I did, my motivations were literally um, Sonia Richards Ross, Shelly Ann Fraser Price, Veronica Campbell Brown, um, uh, Carmelita Jetta, and our girl Flojo. So don't play with it. So it's always been those big inspiration in sports for me. Those women. have always been there. Like those, when it comes to track, those are always the women that everybody's looking for. I don't even know. I mean, there are other athletes that I know of, but those are the big five, the big ones that I'm like up there, you know. So they were always the standard for me when it comes to athletic and style. But when it comes to fashion, definitely FloJo keeping it together because she's fashion on and off the track. Let's not get it twisted.
Years from now, when you're older and perhaps you've gotten to perhaps the fight is won, you've gotten to the Olympic Games, maybe at LA in 28, maybe even Brisbane in 32, maybe
Or the World
even
Championships next year.
or Worlds next year. I mean, I know you're not going to quit pushing.
Never.
What do you think your
I'm
legacy
not.
will be when it's all years from now, when it's all said and done? What do you think the legacy of CeCe Telfer will be?
My inspiration, and I'm going to be real with you, is Harriet Tubman. That's mother right there. And not only is that mother, but a black woman did that. So, with that being said, me making it to the Olympics, me being on that podium, me even competing in that race is me embodying what mother has done for our people. Because that's how they're making me feel right now. Whatever black people tries to touch or do, it's always a problem, right? So they're making it so hard for me, for us to compete at the highest level of sports. Why? Why? We've done this already. We've been through this. When I finish competing at every single race, the adrenaline that I feel, the healing nature of what I feel is very real. And that's why I keep doing it. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. That's why I keep showing up. That's why I keep going on that line. That's why I keep going to these competitions. So when I make it, when I'm there, I will be I will feel like my job is done. I will feel like we are moving forward. I will feel like the war that we've been fighting is won. Like that will mark a huge step in the right direction for real. And for women at large.
The athlete of CeCe Telfer in the book is Make It Count. And I got to say, you definitely did make it count. Go to your bookstore, whatever online combine you got, pick up this book.
Yeah,
CeCe, sister, thank you for just being here, and mostly just thank you
absolutely.
for being.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, my sister Carly. Thank you for always empowering and motivating and uplifting myself and our sisters, our brothers, our cousins. You're just a beam of light. And in every situation in life, every process, every opportunity, we always, always, always have to make it count because you never know. There are people out there that don't have those choices, don't have those basic human rights. So when you get them, you have to use it and always make it count.